about 40 days to live. My girlfriend who I dated for 2 years, who ended up getting a heart tumor. It was a couple of years ago, but I still see her when I close my eyes. I still hear that sentence. I can never watch movies about these topics anymore. Makeup might help other people, but it won't help you, because you're ugly. Do you understand that? My dad, after I put eyeshadow on when I was a little girl. I was 22 years old at the time, have 2 younger sisters with the same mother. We lost her to cancer, she was only 44. Sisters were only 11 and 12. Their dad had been my stepdad since I was 2 years old. 2 weeks after she passed away he told my sisters, now that she's dead, Tasmas isn't part of our family anymore. They told me the next day they couldn't see me anymore. Update. For those wanting to know, here is a photo of the girls and I, now 16 and 17. In the short one in the middle at a measly 5 feet 7. https://unga.com/carrier. My ex was going through my email and computer daily. I didn't think much of it because I wasn't hiding anything. However, one day I walked in on her at my computer and asked her about it. She said, "I'm looking for a reason to hate you." I moved out that weekend. We are going to be taking her off life support soon. So if you want to say your final goodbye, now is your chance. I was 16 and the doctor was talking about my 14-year-old sister. Edit. Thank you all for all of your condolences. I'm sorry I wasn't able to get to all of you, but to clarify, this happened 8 years ago, and even though it was a tragic time in my life, it has become a part of who I am, and I think about her all the time, but my family and I are really good right now. I'm going to sign off Reddit now, but if any of you want someone to talk with, I'm here to listen. Just send me a PM. Also, this is my highest rated comment, and it's an honor to have it about my sister. Thank you so much. The doctors say he has a 70% chance of not making it. My mom called me telling me that my brother tried to commit suicide. I was on my way to my last important college test. I asked to go see him, but that he looked terrible and wouldn't want anyone seeing him like that. I'm not a religious guy, but I prayed in the test and said let me fail every test from now on to let him live. I failed the test and he lived. My then girlfriend of 1.5 years said that the problem with our relationship was that I wasn't her ex-boyfriend. My grandma said to me whilst on her deathbed, "I'm so glad I got to know you for so long." I was 18. That absolutely demolished me, and it still does when I even think about it. Edit. To clarify, I don't mean that I got to know her just that moment. She expressed how grateful she was that she had known me for so long and had been able to see me grow up. So from since I was born until that day, because like I said in the comments, we were very close. Also thanks for the kind words and sharing your stories. My former best friend essentially encouraged a guy to rape me while I was sleeping on the couch just a few meters away. I was tired and resting, but I heard everything they said. He didn't. He called her out on it, saying it wasn't a cool thing to say in that situation. Suffice it to say she isn't my friend anymore. Edit. Slightly longer version. We were at a house party. Her sisters and their friends. It wasn't that big, but there was beer. It was getting late, and I wanted to go home, but she wanted to stay for a while longer, so I lay down closing my eyes. They were sitting in the same room just a few meters away. At this point it was pretty late and relaxed and people were just chilling and talking. I guess she thought I passed out. As I'm laying there they start talking about X. The guy mentions that he hasn't had X in a while. My friend offered me out saying that he could take me, or have his way with me since I was passed out and that I was a virgin. I'm being nice and paraphrasing. She said it with a dead serious voice. And based on his reaction, silence and that's not cool or something, I can't remember anymore. I'm pretty sure she was serious or it was a very poor joke. The university has accepted too many students into this course this year, and you should be asking yourself if you belong here. University lecturer at a tutorial session. He ran 1.5-hour tutorials instead of scheduled 3 hours. I asked for help in the remaining 1.5 hours, rather than him just leaving. That was his pompous response. Seriously considered quitting that day? Then I got mad. Then I improved. Then I graduated. He didn't get asked back for a second semester. No, I wasn't the only one to have issues with him. What an butt. It's a shame you're not beautiful like your mother and sisters. When I was 15. My parents were divorced when I was 5. When I was 27 I met my mother again. First thing she did was grab me by my cheeks and tell me, oh, you're just as ugly as your dad, and then she laughed. There was nothing funny about it, and it crushed my heart. My dad is still my hero. He raised 5 kids on his own. I recently lost my younger brother to suicide 2 weeks ago. I am okay. My dad is a mess. His heart is crushed. He keeps forgetting things now. I don't hate my mom. I feel bad for her. You are not my daughter anymore, my mum, after I tried to stay neutral in an argument she was having with my dad. Edit. I was over 18 and the argument was about money. I still talk to my mother, but had substantially cut down contact for other reasons. In a seductive exy voice, hello. I had just moved out of my home the week before, away from my abusive STB ex-husband. My very close friend had been helping me along emotionally, just generally being a very good friend. I had permission to go into the marital home to get some things I left behind. I checked the caller ID to see if I missed any calls for me. I saw her name and thought, that's weird, she knows I don't live here anymore. So I checked the call history. 3 times a day calls to and from her since I left. So I called her from the marital home. That's when she said hello. I quickly hung up because I knew right there that she had been banging my husband all along. I knew right then and there that's why marital counseling had gone from hopeful to hell, why the verbal abuse became a 24/7 mind bend, heart-wrenching, life-threatening, most horrible death sentence to my marriage. Because he replaced me with my very good friend. That hurt worse than the divorce and came a very close second to the bad level of emotional abuse I was already enduring. Edited to at, they married. 2 years later, history would repeat. She moved out in a hurry to escape his abuse and divorced him. Sorry for her that she didn't have such a good friend to help her out emotionally. /s. Jard hung himself. My uncle on the phone to be about my little brother. My mother, I wish you'd never been born. I reacted with I don't want you to be my mother then. I ended up not talking or seeing her for over 5 years. Edit. People want to know context. TL. Doctor version. Strict, controlling mother. We got into a fight about me, 19, staying back late one night to help the drama club with a production. Guilt trip fails. She hits me in the face, screams that I'm no child of hers, and kicks me out of home. Leaves my dad a week later, blaming me for the marriage breakdown, and throws him out of our house as well. From ultrasound technician, I can't locate your baby's heartbeat. I wasn't even in love with you, I just stayed with you until I could find someone better 2 years later, and I'm in a happy relationship now, but every time I think about that it cuts deep. I felt so inferior and worthless until I realized that I was better than believing him. She'd rather kill herself than be with you. My stepdad telling me how the girl of my dreams would rather commit suicide than be around me when I was 18. I'm a type 1 diabetic, and when I was diagnosed I would have to go to a children's hospital about an hour and a half's drive away to see specialists. This was once or twice a year. I would go with my parents, and it would take a good portion of your day, especially if they were running behind. I had been going there since I was 11, and when I was 15 my dad says to me before we leave, I'm not bringing you here anymore, it's not worth me missing a day of work for this. Have never felt so unloved and uncared for in my life. Edit. For everyone saying that both parents didn't need to be there, my mother didn't drive, so she is actually irrelevant to the story. I should have just said my dad For the most part, it was usually just him and I. I love you, but I'm not in love with you. Hurts as much today as it did 7 years ago. We are still married. Please subscribe to Reddit Throne. Please subscribe to Reddit Throne.